afternoon, Dean. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. So, Dean, today we're going to be talking about the upcoming movie Home Sweet Home Rebirth. And starting off the bat, what got your interest in working with this film?
Well, I think this film got my attention for the complexity of the story. It's not just a horror movie. It's a horror movie with a very emotional story and a very real story. A family going on a vacation to what's supposed to be a relaxing and bonding, time with the family turns out to be jeopardizing their entire life, and putting their entire life in question, and it becomes survival and fighting for your life, literally. I think those elements are the element that really connected with me on an emotional level.
Okay, and being the fact that this film is actually an adaptation to I think it's a series of video games,
Mhm.
was the creator of the video game or anybody that worked with the video game franchise part of like the team that brought in the story to fruition?
Yeah, of course. The video company is part of the team that created and crafted the story. They were also making sure that we are staying true to the characters in terms of look, costume design, behavior, props, element, environments, all of those things to make sure that we are staying true to the game. So absolutely, we use that. But also, they wanted to our help to basically expand the world and tell the story in a way where it would be more appealing to international viewers.
Okay, and were there any difficulties to make the film in terms of like while you guys were in the filming process?
Yeah, I think every movie has its challenges. This movie was shot entirely in Thailand on location. So of course you have a crew of 200 people that some do speak English, some don't speak English. But that we end up working out. I think that the challenge was mainly, you know, blending the practical effect with the visual effect and how you make the actor feel comfortable on set to really understand who they're acting with, because sometimes they had to act with creatures that don't exist on when we're shooting the movie. So you have to make sure you give them eye lines and create puppets in front of them or whatnot, just to make sure that they are getting into the vibe of what we're doing. But ultimately, I think we overcome every challenge. The movie is done, so obviously we were able to overcome all those challenges, but there were a lot of different challenges that we had to overcome.
And you as a producer, what were your like main responsibilities while being on set or not being on set throughout the filming process?
Well, my responsibility to the movie began before we even had a script, right? So I acquired the rights, and then I have to develop the script, and then I have to cast it, and then I have to get the director. So the responsibility is basically to oversee everything that has to do with the movie from the day that I get the right until the day that the movie is basically sold and being released. I oversee every element in this movie. Basically, it's my responsibility.
Okay. And as well, is there was there any challenge in regards to making the CGI as realistic as possible? Because I think that one of the main things besides the script and the story, the CGI is phenomenal. What challenges or what work do you put in like that you guys can make sure that the CGI was on point and for the clarity for the viewers?
Well, we spend a lot of time, crafting those characters and creating the environment that we're going to put them in. This require a lot of planning, because you have to decide every shot where you put the creatures. Is this location going to work for what we envision how it's going to look, later? So it's a lot of planning. This is not your typical movie that you take the camera and start rolling. You cannot roll. I mean, we had unique technology that Sony shared with us on the cameras that is like it's detecting the movement of the characters in front of the camera. Then we basically import this data of this movement and transfer it to the computer and try to simulate the movement of the characters. So yeah, there was a lot of time and planning to do this visual effect the way that it came out. Now, I also have to say that it's a big reason of it that make my life a bit easier, that directors are very visual effects savvy, and they are the one basically to execute the visual effect. So that helped, they know exactly what I want. And so what they show me, it's something that they already want. And I'll just make a few comments and improve it or suggest. And we end up with what we end up in the movie.
That's amazing. And Dean, this would be my last question for you today. If you could describe this film with one word, what would it be?
Terrifying.
I completely agree. I completely agree. So, Dean, thank you very much for your time to speak about the film, and I hope everybody enjoys it as much as I did as well. And nothing, I hope to see you once again in another project in the future.
Thank you so much. I'm sure we will.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye.